Mitch Raposo has been fighting, training, and competing in combat at a high level since he was a teenager. He fought on The Ultimate Fighter, he's competed on the Contender Series. He's only 26 years old, but Mitch Raposo's first UFC win has eluded him. Nonetheless, he's a regional champion, has always been competitive in all of his fights, and fighting out of New England, we'll take a look at the highlights of Mitch Raposo. Mitch, as mentioned, has been training and competing since his teenage years. He won a state championship in high school wrestling. He was a great kickboxer, remained undefeated in that discipline, and has won championships in jiu-jitsu on way to achieving his Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. All this preparation translated to a dominant MMA amateur career. He went 6 for 6, winning 2 belts in Cage Titans in the AFL. With that being said, all 6 of his undefeated amateur career wins went the distance. He turned pro in April of 2019, and while still being dominant, this time he was finding finishes. He landed 3 straight in the first round and won his first 5 pro MMA bouts, and the undefeated New England native would get the call from the UFC to appear on their Ultimate Fighter Season 29, with Volkanovski and Ortega training both bantam and middleweights. And Raposo would be selected first overall by Team Volkanovski for the bantamweight division. I'd also like to mention Raposo has bounced between bantamweight and flyweight since his amateur days. He competed as a flyweight as an amateur and then opened his pro career as a bantamweight. But nonetheless, with the high selection in the Ultimate Fighter, it would be a letdown when Raposo would fall in the second episode of the show. It's a ruthless business. The experience would ultimately prove beneficial, and best case scenario, tough being exhibition MMA, Mitch Raposo would walk off the show still undefeated, and he would actually immediately get an opportunity on the Contender Series, which was debuting its 5th season. He'd match up with a more experienced former Cage Warriors champion in Jake Hadley, and the underdog Raposo was able to implement his takedowns early, landing an explosive shot and controlling the fight on the ground. However, in the second round, Hadley was pressuring with his striking, and it was ultimately the Brit that got a takedown and a rear naked choke finish. After losing on the Contender Series, he'd walk into regional title opportunities, and he'd win the CES flyweight title in his second fight off of the Contender Series with a first round knockout in under a minute. Then he added a second title to the other shoulder, winning the Cage Titans flyweight championship, and this would prove to have been the best decision, because coming off of his bantamweight Ultimate Fighter and bantamweight Contender Series opportunities, he went down to flyweight, and that's where he's really had a lot of his success. Nonetheless, the UFC would actually bring him directly into their organization when he was 9-1, and he would take on an extremely tough Andre Lima, and this fight was really close, with Lima actually fouling a bunch of times in the fight. The only real difference maker that really had the judges and commentary both siding with Lima were the leg kicks. Mitch Raposo actually outstruck Lima with head and body strikes, but the 30 leg kicks from Andre Lima were ultimately the difference in him edging a split decision. But Raposo would earn the respect and another opportunity in the UFC, leaving us where we are now. I wonder how far Mitch Raposo can go in the UFC, and I want to hear your guys' opinion in the comment section below. That'll do it for today's video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.